Okay. 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 So I think we got both YouTube and both YouTube. Are we working properly now? I think so. We'll see. Hello? Okay. Right. So we're in a stuck state. Why are we in a stuck state? So, why are we in a stuck state? We receive triggers. That's the better question. How did I even get into this state? Because if I restart it, we're not going to be in a stuck state, are we? We're going to be working. Let it come online. What? Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Okay. um. Oh, does all unset? What? I'm confused. Why don't I have a cursor on this? It's a link. Where's my cursor? It's a link. Yeah, I've lost my cursor because all unset. So all unset actually does quite a lot. That's actually pretty invasive. Realize how invasive that was. I didn't even know it existed. So let's see. Run action. Cursor pointer. And now we should have a cursor on page. Oh, I know I'm also making myself confused because these CSS look the same. Okay. Right. Yeah, that's why I'm also confused. Right. Scan, scan. Okay. But how did we get into a stuck state? That's the big question. So what did I do? I did. It's like an. So there's an opening tag and a closing tag that don't fit. Am I stuck? I'm not stuck. Wait a minute, what? I'm not stuck. Uh, how's it working? What? I'm not stuck, but this isn't a link. Huh? I'm guessing my HTML Alexa can just handle this use case. That's pretty cool. I guess the way that it does it is it detects that something is trying to close. It doesn't know what the close is. And so it assumes that its scope has been closed to? Or is it because of and? So NA. What? What? Pico A, Pico NA. How did I manage to achieve that? Either way, that's cool. But we're not in a stuck state, are we? How did I achieve a stuck state? I should have started the server. I thought I could just reproduce it. Okay, so we have a mysterious stuck state. So we have, let's add it to our list. Mysterious stuck state. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Possibly caused by invalid HTML, not sure. Can't reproduce it. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. So run scan now. So let's go to the scan page. Let's go to the scan page. So run scan now. The scan page looks the same, obviously, because I just copied and pasted. This page is not going to look the same, but it's going to have the shared CSS. Oops. Get rid of that. So it's going to have the shared CSS, and then this will be, this will say something along the lines of run. Run. We'll say something like scanning, ban, ban, blub, 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 blub. We want to say what we're scanning. And then after that, we'll probably want to have a class, a scan box. And this will have to use server sent events. Yeah. I think that'll be right. So that will use server sent events, server side events. I can't. Let's give the scan box a title. So we'll just say crawling pages scan box title. Scan box. Give class scan box. Oh, you can't use BEM, which because I'd like to use BEM here. Title. Scan box title. Scan box title. The two hardest things in software engineering are naming things, and it doesn't matter to say the rest. Scan box title. This is the title. This is the title box. Is it really the title, or is it the description? It's the... Yeah. This is the thing which AI coding makes interesting. Don't care what the scan box. Scan box. I don't like saying box all the time. Scan box info. This is overdone. Scan box title. Scan box results. I think scan box results. So I think what we'll do is, why do we just say, oh yeah, that's right. So I think what we're gonna do is it's gonna have the results, and the results are gonna look like blah 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 out of blah 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 blah. So blub blah 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 out of what am I, any slashes, span, blah 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 blah. Okay, so we've got our crawling pages. That's the title. Then we've got the results, and then below that we're gonna have the progress bar. So Scanbox progress bar. Let's do that. And that won't need any content. Yeah. Right. Okay, let's try and put this all together. So action box, this is in the scan page. So we can get rid of action box here. Put in the scan box. Scan box. And in the scan box, is there actually any styling for the box itself, or let's just leave it like that? So in the scan box, we're going to have the, wish I could do BEM here, but I can't. So scan box, BEM nesting, scan box, box, box. Don't like this naming. This will be display flex. I guess we can give it a gap. It doesn't, well, it matters for responsive, responsive. Not going to worry about that right. So let's give it a gap. Obviously, this shouldn't be a movie like that. Pages. Is that even a H? Probably not really a H because it's a category of conversation. Let's do this. So Scanbox title. So let's give it the well, first of all, let's do the easy thing. So Scanbox progress bar. And let's give this just background red. So actually now think about it. Do I want to do this as an SVG or just... So obviously I might just want to do the progress bar as an SVG. Gives you more control visually. I think for now I'm going to do it as HTML. So what I need is a progress box. And inside of the progress box, you'll have the progress. Progress box. And inside the progress box, we'll have a progress bar. Right? Now, one thing that confuses me is how did the scam... Oh, yeah, of course. So we've got this nonsense here. That's how it ended up being like that. So progress bar, and then we would be able to say stuff like style. We'll be able to do this programmatically afterwards. Width, 55%. Whoop. Progress. Well, I gave the box the color, which makes no sense. Perfect. So the box would have a border of 1px solid var gray 500. Probably. Yeah, there we go. We've got our little progress box. This is very much back ended as front end. So how does this look nice? How does this it looks nice because get rid of that. That looks a bit horrible. And we are going to want a border radius and a whole different color. So let's say var, we're going to be overusing primary until I've figured out which color scheme we want. So border radius, let's just give them both 5px. This gray is it shouldn't be a gray. Should it be a gray or should it be a gray of the... Ah, let's leave it like that. So one of the questions is do you want to put anything visually here? Probably not. So now, info box, where are we? Blup. Info box, display flat, title, flex, grow 100. That looks nice. That looks nice, but I think what I would like is font weight bold. We have a padding issue, but I'm not sure I care too much to solve it now. What I think I would like to do is... So results is a bad word. Mm. And then we'll say scanbox progress, and then this will be color, var, color gray. Let's give that a... Honestly, probably both of them. Yeah, that's... Well, no, because that's more dominance. So I don't like this font we have going, but let's color gray. Let's just do it like that for now. Pages. Title, let's give it a box. IPX. Why doesn't it not have a border? Why did that not give it some? Did that not give... That not letting it... This is a flex. Adding bottom. Adding bottom 5px. Let's see if this breathes a bit better. It's so horrible. But we're getting to the point here where this should now be getting to the point where it's pluggable. That's where we want to be. We want to be at the point where it's pluggable. I don't like this gray. This gray is horrific. Let's put it down to like... Still feels wrong. What I think I would like to do in the progress is... Let's just... press. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Maybe. Who's? Okay, I feel like this is too light, and then this is too dark. I'll just leave it like that. Scrolling pages. Okay, this is so horrific. Okay, that's good enough for now. That's good enough for like a first pass, because we don't even need it to be perfect. Right now, just need it to be good. So, we don't need any buttons on the screen. Yes, we do need a button. Yes, we do need a button. We need one button. Need one button. We need one button. So let's put our button. Put our button in the title, which turns the title into a box. Makes it a title box. Which means that the button. Well, that's horrible, isn't it? Actually, no. Hold on. That's completely wrong. That is completely wrong. That is completely wrong. Put that back. We need a class equals title box. And then in here, we're going that like. Okay. And then this. Now we need to add this. So title belongs in a title box. Title box like so. Title belongs in a title box. And inside of the title box also belongs a cancel action. Action, cancel action. So, now, am I in a stuck state? I hope I am, because if I am, I've reproduced it. Please say I'm in a stuck state. Stuck state. How did I get into a stuck state before? I have no idea. Okay. Still not in a stuck state. Action, cancel action. How do I want to do this? So we'll do it like this for now. I don't like repeating this too much. But we'll say action, cancel action. So we have that. The title box needs a display flex, obviously. And then we'll give this flex.grow. Bam. And this won't say history, this will say cancel. Now, how do we have so much padding? We don't need as much padding, so we'll halve this. Still 115? We might still 115. Wait, what? Oh, it's gonna be because it's it's going to be because it's trying to fill the height thing, isn't it? Which means you have to justify content. Justify item. The thing that always gets me the most about CSS is Justify content, align items, align content, just align, there's, yeah, it's okay. So it's align items and we want center probably. Yeah. So, and that goes on the title box. So on the title box, we want align items center. That look nice? Yep. Cancel. It doesn't make sense for the cancel to have a timer SVG. Now. What other icons do I have? Close. Okay, we'll give it a close for. Why is that broken? Okay, that's interesting. The entry was not found in the data source. Is that a bug with? Okay. Okay, another insert bug. So, blip, 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 blip. 7. If an asset SVG is referenced after server start but was not referenced on the server start, you get let's just copy this bit. We don't need the stack trace. That's a bit excessive, I think. If an asset SVG is referenced after server start but was not referenced on the server start, you get that error. Yeah, that's about right. Key. Refresh. Which means we have. What was that? Static asset not found at the path. Oh. Static asset not found at the path. Wait a minute, so. Hold on. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Of course this isn't going to work. Because this is a different repo. Icons. Paste. Right. Okay, so hold on. Let's see if this message is true, because this may not be true, what I've written there, because I made a mistake. So, how am I going to try this? So we're going to try it by just putting you to bolt. And what I'm going to do is, let's think for a second. Let's try and reproduce the bug as it says it there. So in order to do that, I'm going to need close. I'm going to start the server again. Okay. And so, let's see. Okay. Do I have the same bug? That's the question. So the bug as indicated, and I think it's wrong how I've written it there. So close. Okay, that bug was. Wait. Okay. I thought for a second it restarted. I don't think it restarted. Yes? No, you didn't restart. Okay. Okay, so that bug report was wrong, but what was the bug I just found? The bug I just found was the other way round. So if we get rid of this, now this shouldn't work because obviously that asset. So it's able to pick that up. It's able to pick that up. If I start the server. So if I start the server and that thing isn't there, and then I put it there. Does it work? No. Okay, so there's a different bug. This is not. This is not. It's the same error though. It's the same error, but the scenario for the bug is different. So if an asset. Let's try and read this. If an asset is referenced after server side was no, that's not the bug. That actually worked. So what the bug is. The bug is if you. Does it. Is it also broken if I add, so what's this, info? Do I have info down here? Oh, wait. Let's copy over info, icons info. So does it also break if I do it this way around? Yes. Yes. So what the bug is, what did I say the bug was? This wasn't. Okay, this was fine. All assets, SVG, must be available on the server start, or you get da 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 da. We need a way to detect new assets after server start. So I think we can do that with CSS already, but there obviously seems to be a bug with, at the very least, SVG. But I don't know. Right now, we're not solving them. So what did I want? I can't remember what I wanted. I just wanted. So now, why did I stop it? I must have stopped it. Right? I stopped it, right? I had to have stopped it. I don't remember stopping it, but I had to have stopped. Okay, so now we have our close button, our cancel button. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and then what we would like. So the problem with this current page. So okay, what we're doing right now, we're showing the scan and progress, and we need to show the actual progress because this is a bad progress bar. This is a confusing progress bar, and it doesn't portray information as we should want it. So results box, like the, sure, why not? I'm using the word box a lot today. Now this would be looped over. So let's do it with one instance first, and then we will see what we want to do from there. So we're going to want an SVG on the, we're going to want an SVG on a results box. It's more like just a result. Result. And then there'll be an SVG on the left, and that will be specific to the status. That makes sense. So we'll have the status on the left. Let's see. Have a tick. A check mark. I'm going to have to go to tabular icons. But we're going to want a tick mark in progress and something to indicate that it hasn't started yet. Well, we already have the hasn't started yet. The clock. We have a clock, don't we? Am I being stupid right now? Why is the clock called Zap? So we should really have an aria on this, but let's not worry about that right now. So there'll be a clock which is called Zap for some reason. And then I want to have a tick. I'm sure I have to have a tick already. Whatever. Tick. It's not called tick. That's probably why I don't have it. What's the actual Tableau website? Yeah, I remember this one. There we go. This is what I want. It's an icon check. That check. Have the bug aware because we're adding after the fact. That's also something I am curious on. If I edit the SVG, does it pick it up? I suspect not. Say check. Why am I not saying? Yeah, of course I'm check because it's start the interpreted. Let's try that. I'm really curious. So if I, because this might be another bug interpreter. If I start in interpreted mode, go back here. This should now have it has 2 ticks. Why does it have 2 ticks? Because I made 2 ticks. If I start here and I say M15, it looks broken. Right. And it doesn't even know. It's not even an error. It's just, okay. So, 8. Updates to assets, SVGs, are not picked up. To not watch, not picked up. not picked, not are not watched, are not watched by the life cycle. It's gone. Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to happen. So we have in progress done, and what I will need is, so this is not in progress, sorry, this is waiting. So what I'll need is I'll need a new thing, which is signifying is doing something, I think. I need a new thing that signifies something is doing something or something is happening. Well, that's a pause icon. Do I want a pause icon? What's this? History. I probably already have that icon. What do I want? Doing something. What's cycle? Doing something. Doing. I mean, there was a bike, car, room, feed. I mean, why don't I use the bolt? I already have the bolt, don't I? Bolt. Fine. Bolt means it's doing something. We're going to be overusing the same icons, but so it'll be bolt. So bolt will be for, so we'll have, yeah, these will be the different states. For now, let's just comment out 2 of them. So this will be in progress. And then we'll have the actual box itself. So well, that's the result. It's the result. And then you'll have the title. So that will say something like, I don't know, SEO. Hmm? And then on the far right side, we'll have, X found like this. So we'll say this is the result, result, result box, result box, result box, result, or result box progress, maybe. Class result box title. Result box title, result box result. And then you will be result box status. For these ones too. And now you look humongous. Lovely. We need to show this. So there you go. You can see progress. So and then that'll be that. So now we need to make our result box look nice. Really would like to do, actually, is because I know what this is. I know what this is. this page would look so much better if what we had was... I mean, really, it should probably be in the layout that I do this, what I'm about to do. Layout. Also, host. Hmm. And then everything's in main. So what I can do is give main a subtle... This will make background color. That wasn't what I was expecting would happen here. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's do main. Wait, that's what I just did. Let's do body. Does that work? Yes, it does work. So if we do body red, then we can make site header. Where are you styled? You're styled here. And make you... So you have a background filter like that. Does that look nice? Or does this look nicer? So it will make you pure white. Okay. And then you are going to be var color gray 500. Too much. That is exactly what I wanted. So now what I can do is if I'm... See, we need to pull this over a bit more. See it right, because you can't see the CSS changes that I'm doing. Try and make this like really thin, like don't need... The problem is that obviously HTML begs nesting. Okay, let's keep it like that. So that's looking a bit better, I think. And now we need to actually make this look into something. Right. So where are we? We're in scan. Result box. Scan box. I never made a result box. That's why I can't find it. But we can delete this. This scan box. That was, yeah. Now we want scan box, and then we can add in result box. And inside of result box, we have the status. Result box status. The result box itself will be the flex, that's for sure, and it will have the gap. And it will have the padding bottom. And then the status will be max width. I don't know. Definitely not going to be 5px. I say 60px. How does that? It's way too much. Okay. Now the result box itself will have background white. It will have a border radius of 5px. I really need to stand border radius. Border radius 5px. The scan box. Let's give the scan box the margin bottom px. Like that. There we go. Really getting somewhere. And then we will give the status something relevant to the state. So status, this will be status, what did we say? This will status waiting. This would be status done. And this would be status waiting, done, doing. Yes. So then what we can do, result box status. See, I don't, can I do this? I'm sure I can. Result box status. I really want to see if I can make my thing actually just support BEM natively. Color red. Yeah, okay, that works. So this will be color gray 500. Start there. This needs padding. It says bottom. It's not padding. Bottom. At padding 5px. But that's not right at all. Border 1px solid bar color gray 900. Too aggressive. Now why does 700 not feel like a different color? Okay. Align items center. Gap is too small. And then we're going to want result box title. Flex grow 100. Then we can have result box result color color gray. Something like that. It's not, I'm not entirely happy with the padding situation. I think we could make the padding better. But so one of the things is that obviously that would be color gray. So we're going to need to add more colors. So shared color primary color. I'm going to have to think this all through. Let's just say color okay for now. I'm going to rename them because I'm going to go through, I'm going to think of this one. Say color okay. That's really not a nice color. It doesn't blend well, but we're just going to put something in there for now. So let's say, where am I? Scan. Waiting. Done is going to be color okay. There would also be a fail state, but failing is a valid state. Let's put, for now, I'm not even going to create another color like this. Let's just create color doing. Let's just give this a, let's just change this dramatically. Work this, or did I just change color? Okay. I think I just changed color. Okay. I didn't mean to. Color doing, and then let's just give this a blue. Let's give it a blue like this. So, see where we're up to. We have a little page. It's nothing too fancy. The padding is not right. But we'll get back to that. And then for now, what I'm going to do. No, this is fine. No, I think this is fine. This is fine for what I need it to be, I think, for now. Yeah. So let's get rid of all of this. Let's get rid of all of this. I still haven't been able to reproduce the broken state from before, but maybe that's a red herring, so to speak. Double check everything's. Okay. So what we want to do now, we have our little page, which allows us to actually have results. Well, allows us to actually. Oh wow! What this? How did this happen? How did this happen? When did this happen? And why? What? What did I do? Is it when I deleted? Is it when I just deleted this stuff? Did I just delete styling? I shouldn't have deleted. Yes, I did just delete styling. Did I just delete? Ah, let's just leave it all then. Is it? Is it button icon? Probably. That's that. That where it all went wrong. Where it all went wrong. Button icon. Okay. So run scan now. Then back. I cancel button icon. Did I just leave that? Or is it the same bug? Same bug because button icon is actually a requirement. Okay. To give it size, I presume. It's a nice calming feel. I like it. This is too big. This is too big. It's too big and there's not enough padding on the result box, I think. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How much pad? Ooh, that's not bad, is it? So 15. Honestly, that's not bad. This padding is weird. So we'll say 15. And 20, I think. Do we want to change that that gap? I don't know. 15. I don't have to get it perfect now. That's not the point because we're going to, want to get stuck into so padding. We'll just say straight up 15. And then we wanted to reduce you down to 20. There we go. That's a bit nicer. Bit nice. Still don't know about the padding between the icon and the text, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Have our 2 pages. Run scan now. Then you can cancel. Right. So, what we would like to do is now give this a data object. Probably this shouldn't own the data object, but it's going to be easier with the interpreter. For now, for it to own the data object, but I should probably restart it where it doesn't own the data object. We need response. So this would be a result. And a result contains a status. Then we'll have how are we going to do this? Result status waiting. Result status waiting, result status. Result status waiting, result status. I mean, unknown, I guess, it really should be number 1. Result status waiting, result status unknown, result status waiting, result status done. Unknown waiting. Well, have it up here. Done. Doing. type result status int. I really shouldn't be handling it here, I don't think. Result status. Then we'll do func result status. So status string return string unknown doing something like that, I think. Okay. Status will be a result status. And then we can do, I don't know if this is going to work. So response will contain results. So response will return results. Response also have. What will results also have? The results will have a title. And then I think it should hold the result text itself. Yeah, it should hold the result text itself. That would make the most sense, I think. And then we can get rid of all this. Say results. And that'll be a result. So I'm making this all server side right now. But obviously this will be updated from the server side events. So we'll say status. And then we'll do doing. Then we'll have our SEO checks here. And then the result message, I guess, really, would be 100 out of, well, I guess it would be like 50 out of 100 found. Something like that. And then we'll give it a second object. And we'll say result status. Well, yeah, really we should be putting in a bit of an order here, I think. So this will be done. So we'll say, well, it doesn't make sense that's out of actually. We'll say 100 found. So this is doing. So it would say whatever, and then we'll have performance checks, and then that would say 0 found. No. And then what I would be able to do P4 result in state dot results. Where are you up? Because we are actually passing up a title apparently. I got rid of the title. What was the title? Let's give it a title. Anything else is passed? Oh, let's just shove it back in. So title, let's just shove that back in right now to just happy. And we have to give you a title here. What's wrong? Are you frozen? No, you're not frozen. Are you frozen? Because I see 3 things. Oh no, of course they're going to say the same thing. So this can now be ptext equals result dot title. And this can now be ptext result dot result. There you go. And then, does this work? If result dot status equals status. So what was that? That was waiting. Curious if this. Now, why wouldn't that work? Because obviously something has gone wrong there. Does it not work because... Now, why wouldn't that work? That would be done. And then this would be doing. Now, why doesn't that work? There's a chance that the reason why it doesn't work is because it doesn't know. Yeah. Why wouldn't that work? That's the question. Does it work in compiled mode? I just do air. So that's interesting. So it works in compiled mode. So this is another interpreted mode bug. But one of the things I'm confused about is why do we not have one of the icons? So we have green, Which one don't we have? It's waiting. Waiting doesn't work. Why doesn't... because I put result status unknown, of course. Waiting. So, compiled mode needs to rebuild. So it takes a while. Okay, so this is another bug with interpreted mode. So in compiled mode, this does work, as I thought it would work. But in interpreted mode, there's another bug with interpreted mode. Interpreted mode squashes it. Why does interpreted mode squash it? I'm glad it's a bug in interpreted mode because... Why does interpreted mode squash it? Okay, so this is another bug with interpreted mode. I suspect... What else doesn't work? So... Because once again, this should work in compiled mode. If I was to do... That's interesting. Is that a bug with the plugin? This. What? What? Can't find declaration. What? Okay, the plugin has bug. Am I on an old version of the plugin? No, I just work. So this doesn't tell me anything. Ban. Ban. Result status. Did I add one too many? Yes, I did. Too many mustaches. Okay. So that's the reason why I try and avoid interpreted mode, because compiled mode, because what compiled mode has to do is it has to compile everything in Golang, on every single update, and so that's why we're trying to make interpreted mode work fluidly, because what interpreted mode does is it doesn't recompile everything in Golang. I actually interpret the Go programming language, so you know we're able to not restart. So that works as I would expect it to. What happens here? Does it crash? Because I'm trying to access something. Like, what? It works. Why does it work? That feeling in software engineering. Why do you work? I don't give you permission to work. Results dot status. Don't. Oh yeah, so that's going to not give me the number because yeah, that's intentional because it's going to detect that there's a string and it's going to stringify it. That's intentional. Not cool. And that's found. Oh. Wait. No, that can't be it. Isn't this. Is this a bug with my. Can you not do. I'm sure you can do. Yeah. If I remove this, no longer can stringify. Cannot coerce type to win. So that's a bug. That's just a straight up bug in the. Okay, we're gonna have to record this. So that's a straight up bug in the annotator. Issues with Pico. What do we have in here? Not do BAM. Yeah, that's not. It's not a real issue because that's just me being me. So what I'm gonna do. I mean, that's not an issue. That's a. That's a. That's just me being me. So low priority, high priority, high priority, low priority, high priority. 1. If you create an IOTA enum, whatever, um, with a custom type, it's probably actually just the custom type. Possibly like go this. Then you try to do um state. Maybe because it's in a loop. I need to validate that. dot status. Let's just do it like that so it's clear. Then you try and do insert result status to to print it out as an int instead of the string. Get error. Cannot coerce type. That's horrible. Yes, that's horrible. Yeah, that's horrible. Right. Well, that's a bug. But there's another bug. That's just one of the bugs. The other bug, which is high priority and definitely not low priority, is that in interpreted mode, it just forks this whole concept entirely. Entirely. So what I'm doing shouldn't be extravagant. So this works. Not work. Let's do some playing around just to see if we can make it work, because if we can, which so let's get rid of this. We got too many mustaches. Okay, let's try and get it to work in interpreted mode, because if we can get it to work, we might be able to deduce why it doesn't work. Okay. Let's see if we can deduce why it doesn't work. Wait. What did I... Okay. I have to start it in interpreted mode, or otherwise we're just going to see it work. Otherwise we're just going to see it working. Right. It's broken. Why is it broken? Can I print you? Can I be able to print you? How many mustaches do I have? I feel like it always gives me one too many. Is that how it works in Golang? Or is that how I've made it? Is that how it works in Golang? uh, I must have done that. That can't... No, that is how it works in Golang. That is how that works in Golang. Okay. That is how that works in Golang. So waiting is... So what's the iota? So waiting is what? So does that... Oh, here we go. But that would be the same issue. That would be the same logical fault compiled mode 2. Yeah, and I think that's correct. Because you'd have to do it like this, wouldn't you? What can you? Oh, that is valid. Did you mean done? No, I did not mean done. So it's annoying because I'm trying to debug this, and in trying to debug this, I'm finding I'm not giving myself the capability to debug it because I keep finding other bugs. Okay, well let's write this bug down. This is a bug with. Hi, what am I working on? Um, I'm working on making my. I've got my own framework for Golang, which I build several products with, for my clients. Um, and what I'm working on right now is I need a new tool to help me scan the websites that I build for my clients, to make sure that the SEO is all good, the accessibility is all good, and all this. And it's going to be part of a suite I have of tools. So there's about 5 or 6 tools I have in this suite. So I want to add a new suite there. But the main thing that I'm wanting to do is I have because this is in Golang. Normally what happens is you write the templates and then it compiles them down. So for example, you'll see, and my screen's all a jumbled mess right now, but you'll see I have these .pk files, and it's like a view file, with a template here, and we have a Go code inside of the single file application, the single file component. So it's like Vue, but instead of JavaScript, it's Go. And then I have my CSS down here. And then what that does is it compiles it. So if I find my dist file is empty. That's probably because I'm running in interpreted mode. So let's see if I run it. Why would my dist file is probably empty because I'm probably crashing. But basically I compile it down to Go. So it doesn't do this at runtime. But the annoying thing is, and this is what I've always done up to this point with my clients, is I've been using the compiled mode, but whenever you update in the compiled mode, it takes maybe 5 seconds to pull in your changes. So I'm trying to build this new version with the interpreted mode, because I'm interpreting the Go language, right? So I'm trying to find all the bugs I can with the interpreted mode, which is why I got this bug list here, by trying to build something in that mode. So then I can build faster. And then in production, you run it compiled. So it's, faster. So you build faster for dev, and then you run faster in production. So hopefully that will make sense. Where was I? I found this new issue and I wanted to write this down. So issues with Pico, there's a new issue, which, and the annoying thing is that in trying to identify bugs I have with the interpreted mode, I'm finding bugs with the compiled mode too. Which is annoying because I didn't know there was bugs, or this many bugs. So if you create an IOTA, same thing. Yeah. Well, we don't have to. Well, let's just write the whole thing. And then you try to do if Let's say state dot result status equals results status 1. You get this. Okay. So how am I going to debug this? Result status. What was this? It was waiting. How am I going to debug this if the ways to debug this also break this? We're in compiled mode. I see compiled mode. Compiled code. Yeah, there we go. It's just that my IDE, for some reason, reflecting the files it should. Okay. So I think this bug can't be fixed right now without me opening up the interpreter. without me opening up the interpreter. So what do I do instead then? I mean, we can start. We're gonna have to start opening it up at some point. So what am I in right now? I'm not running anything. I'm trying to figure out what was going on. So the interpreted mode didn't work. I can just leave it not working, and we can solve that. Just before I give in, though, was there anything else? Just before I give in, was there any other way I could try and debug this? See, I want to know. Well, how can I debug this? See, that's the thing that confuses me. Is it does have the value, and string is working. That's the thing that's confusing me the most. It has the value, and string is working. Done doing waiting. It has the value, and string is working. Wait. This would be insane if this... Would this work? No. Oh! Wait! That's just told me what the problem is. Has that just told me what the problem... Can you do that and go... Check. Yes, you can do that in Golang. That hasn't told me what the problem is, but that's another bug for the list. If you do. If you create an IOTA... And then you try to do... I don't know. Is it just, let me put it back like this. Can I do this? Because if this reproduces situation, then you do... God, there's so many issues. Results state dot result status. No, 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 no. You don't even have to do it. No, no, no. And then you try and do da 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 da. You get... So there's a lot to do with enums that I just haven't thought about properly. Yeah. I keep thinking like I'm about to identify a way of debugging this, and then the way that I identify I can debug it turns out to be another way that it's broken. Okay, so that's broken. So result status is result status waiting. What else am I... The problem is that I have to debug it in interpreted mode, but there's no debugger for interpreted mode, unfortunately, at this time. So, how am I going to debug this? Result status equals result status waiting. So I'm in interpreted mode right now, and it's broken. We have no icons. We found a ton of bugs, but none of them are the bugs that are the actual bug we're having. So we haven't isolated. Result status equals result status waiting. It's a bug. Yeah, we learned that it's a bug. Well, that's not a bug. That's just how it is. That's not a bug. That's not a bug. That's how it is. Result status string. Can I do? Are you a string? Are you a string? Cannot strictly compare type result status to string, but could you? This. Would you like? Ah, it works. Works. Hmm. What does that tell me? I mean, of course it works. I would expect it to work. So what does it tell me? It tells me that the bug to tell me. I think the bug is in the interpreter itself, and not the scaffolding around the interpreter. I'm wondering if I ever tested this in the interpreter itself. I'm wondering if I tested this ever in the interpreter itself. Okay. Because that's telling me it does definitely. It's also telling me that this isn't a string. So it's not incorrectly. That's the key thing. It's not incorrectly thinking it's a string. Does this work? Am I able to this no, this would yeah, because it just can't compare. It's just that makes sense. It be should it should it be able? That's a good question. Should this be able to? No. No, it shouldn't be able to. Correct. That shouldn't be able to work because by enabling that to work, you would open up multiple alternative implementation paths, which would make it too confusing. This should only work. But hold on. Wait a minute, shouldn't it work, but that's a rabbit hole I don't need to get into right now. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole I don't need to get into right now. So, okay. Result status waiting. And it just can't compare. So did I write this down? Or did I not write it down because I couldn't? So this is an issue with an interpreter. I didn't write it down. Because and then try to do something like this. Yeah. In interp mode and not handle the result status result status. No error. It just cannot make the comparison. Works in tiled mode. I think this is a bug in the interpreter itself, in the actual core of the interpreter. Can we reproduce? Can we reproduce? So where's the interpreter? The interpreter, obviously here, interp, test, snippets, test data. Bloom. $9.30. And then let's do IO. Is it because it's an IOTA or just custom type? Custom type. So let's copy this over into the interpreter. Result status. Result status unknown, waiting, doing, done. Right, yeah. And then let's add this, just fun. Let's, I mean, it could be a bug in the end. No, no, because it has the type, so it has to be a bug core to the interpreter. It has to be a bug core to the interpreter. Okay. Then we're going to do t equal whatever it is. Results status waiting. If result equals result status waiting, return waiting. Let's do it like this instead of a case. And the reason is because the issue might be specific to if. Yeah, of course it's always. Let's not even do elfis, else's, because let's just write it out like this. A bit verbose. But I should not be here at return waiting. Anything? Printf. Waiting. Let's really just like hammer this home. Like, what is this? Let's hammer this home. Hammer this home. And really try and understand what's going on. What do we get? Has to be. The thing that confuses me is this is one of those things that you would have thought that like you would have tested, because like how else could have it happened? Format. Format. Yeah. Telling me not. E. Go test run test parity. Zero 930 underscore. It passes. Passes, of course it passes. Of course it passes. So what's going on then? See what it's generating. Because if we see what it's generating, I might be able to have an idea why it passes. So it was a scam page. The value. Not because it's falling through the cracks. Because isn't that just used when it falls through the cracks? Nothing's wrong. Yeah. And what do you generate? Sorry, I have to go to compiled mode. Sorry, that's not even that's into. So what do you generate? Generated. Yeah, if 1 equals 1. Why does it evaluate strict equality? It returns for yeah, of course, yeah. Because you're the fallback, aren't you? You're the fallback when in the annotator I can't be certain. Oh! Yeah, you're the fallback. So there's two layers of bugs. There's one inside of Pico, where for this situation, I don't even know if it should be strict equality. Sorry, the helper function strict equality. Because this is the reflection based fallback. Yeah, this is the reflection based fallback. And we don't want to be hitting this. This is when I can't prove it. So this is possibly another bug with Pico. But that's why my eval here works, because that's not the bug, of course. That's too. That was the point. That was the thing that was confusing me. Is it felt too obvious that my interpreter wouldn't be able to do that. With past truthiness. Yeah. Yeah, this is just completely wrong, and I wonder if it allocates. I wonder what I'm hitting then. I must be am I able to know? And I can set up the debugger. Shall I set up the debugger? I'm gonna need it eventually. So I can only use the debugger in compiled mode right now because that's the thing is that I started to write a debugger for interpreted mode, but it's just not there. It's just not there. It's just not good enough. The debugger for interpreted mode. I was having a problem with dwarf lines. So do I want to try and debug this to know? Might as well, because then we can try and isolate the bug with the interpreter. So edit configuration. Go remote. Okay. Mine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Okay. So that's let's have a look in compiled mode to see which reflection I must. It's probably this one, right? No. That's the clause to make sure that they're the same type. Or maybe that's where it breaks. That would make a lot of sense if that's how it breaks in interpreted mode, actually. Because I know that one of the issues I was having with the interpreter was having faithful types for reflection. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on that. I bet you that's what the bug is. It can't prove that they're the same type. I bet you in interpreted mode we're returning here. Okay. So let's go to the generated code and let's put a breakpoint here. See if this works. See if this can work. Let's see. Am I broken? I'm broken. Okay. I am in the breakpoint. Yep. Duplicate lines. Yeah. So 3, and this is a 1. So this is done. Let's go in here. Step into. So this is obviously in compiled mode, so it works. So wait a minute. If it works in compiled mode, what is it I'm trying to learn about interpreted mode? If it works in compiled mode, what is it I'm trying to learn? It's gotta be that. It's gotta be this. See, this is meant to be for performance, right? So it exits out early rather than doing a deep equals, right? And so it enables me to exit out early, and it's a performance thing. What am I planning to learn? What is it I'm planning to learn? Because it works in compiled mode. I don't think there's anything I can learn. Actually, with Burger, can I learn? What 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 can I learn? It has to be this. It just has to be this. It just has to be. Does deep equal not? Wait. Doesn't have to be this. Wish I could debug it. I needed the debugger. Wait. No, I can debug it. I just can't debug. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I can debug it. I just can't. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can debug it. I just can't debug the interpreted code. But this code is not interpreted. This code isn't interpreted. Yeah, that's equals a symbol, doesn't it? Surely equals a symbol. Well, let's prove it. Let's prove it. It does. Let's prove it. Yeah, it's not interpreted. Yeah, of course. But maybe that's the bug. Meaning, what the bug is there isn't an interpreter. There isn't a bug in the interpreter. There's a bug with the wall between the interpreter and the Um, the compiled code. There's a bug with the wall. That's where the bug is. That's where the bug is. I don't know what the bug is, but that's where the bug is. Okay, one step at a time. First bug that I would like to make sure we've got written down, I don't think I wrote down, is if you blah 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 blah. Yeah, something like this. And you try and do state dot results equal. You get, this is the first bug that we have to fix. Why does it use evaluate strict equality? Is it because it's unable to prove that it's the same? Now, I don't know if that's actually the just default flow for anything that isn't a primitive. It might be. It might be. But it could also be that it just can't prove the same type. Okay, so we have to go to the other bug. So the issues with interp. And let's think for. Okay. So, let's see. Where am I? Episode Uh, it's the same issue here, but just can't make the comparison. Works in compiled mode. Is evaluate stricter quality and pro, and it somehow bug with the barrier between interpret and the tiled symbols. I have a suspicion it is, and I wonder if it's of the select typing thing. Where am I? So first of all, let's start this all over. Bring it. Wait. Hold on. Eco stringer adapter. Now that's an interesting type to tell me it is. Because what is it here? Request data. Result status. Result status, result status. Right. Result status, result status. Result status, result status, result status. Let's get rid of this. Result status, result status, result status, result status, result status, result status. Wait, when are you going to finish rendering this page? Do this again. Result status, result status, result status, result status. Okay. So what's the bug? One can figure this out. What is the bug? The bug. The bug, the bug, the bug, the bug, the bug. So, what do we get again? We get debug. And what do we get? We get Eco Stringer Adapter. And what do you do? Pico Stringer Adapter? But you're both Pico Stringer Adapters. Now that's an interesting... That's why they're the same type still. So it's the same type, just a completely different type. Now that must be because of the barrier. That means we do go into deep. Let's write it down. When you pull in in compiled mode, the types are to be determined. No worries. Thank you Shiram? I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. I'm planning to make more eBPF videos, and I want to make videos about assembly fairly soon. Because I've been doing quite a lot of assembly recently, and also more eBPF. I've been doing a lot more eBPF. Um, but I want to start doing a lot more eBPF and assembly videos. Um, because I've been using both systems quite extensively recently. Okay, let's have a think. I actually have an assembly video in the works. I've written the script for it. Um, it's all about making certain code possibly 16 to 18 times faster than Golang can. So it's obviously all about simmed, um, yeah, and vector maths and things like this, and doing it yourself in assembly. So I'm hoping I can record that fairly soon. I actually tried to record it the other day, but sometimes with these videos you end up having to re-record them because you just make a complete mess. So let's see. So when you call strictly the types are, let's try and get the type. So, debug. Trying to grab some types, and the type is result status done. Result status done. Ah, that's interesting. So copy value. Where am I going? I going? The types are when you call. Types are. Okay. I probably should have started the server before I started the debug. When you call and the types are, so what are the types? Am I actually connected? No, I'm not connected. What's going on? Let's start again. The types are stringer adapter. You see, what I want to know is if I get rid of the string, is the type still a stringer adapter? I'm gonna have to jump through this. I get rid of the strings. Is it still a stringer adapter? It's interesting. If I get rid... Well, let's restart the server just to make sure that that result isn't behind any sort of cache or anything. Whoa. Why? That You're correct that that's an error, but that shouldn't panic. That should just not work. Why do we panic? Okay, that's a bug, but it's a low priority bug because it's a panic on a fatal error, but you should still not panic. Okay, if in insert mode, why are we panicking? Is it a panic or is it just a panic on a fatal error? No, it has to be a panic. If in insert mode, well, let's resolve the panic first. If in insert mode, have oh well, we're getting more issues than I was expecting, which is a good thing because the more issues you find, the more issues you fix, the more likely you're going to have a half decent system at the end. And in the code you do if in insert mode you have code you do when starting the server it panics. It shouldn't panic, it should fatal error. No point copying the errors because that's what it should. Should not panic, just fatal error, like compiled. Okay. No panic, no cry. So we were trying to debug this. So to debug this, um, might make a bit of sense. That on the right? Yeah, okay. That makes a bit more sense. A bit more room. Because we're just doing Go code now. Get the thing working. So yeah. So what I want to do this new wasn't. So let's get rid of you. Okay. Now what we want to know is we want to know what type it gives us, if it gives us a string or whatever it gives us. Thanks to the debugger. Still give us a what? It gives us primitives. Why do you give me primitives? This has to be a bug with reflect typing. It's not easy. It's not easy. The problem is that when you use reflect in Golang, you can't get the proper types. And so you have to try to like store the types in an object next to the actual thing. Like, Golang doesn't make it easy to write an interpreter. They don't give you all of the reflection stuff you want to make it work. And I bet you this is the bug that I thought I had squashed. So I get primitives. Which means it probably works. When start mode. But you remove string. Get primitive. Which means it works. Okay, you get primitives, so it works. Let's. I don't want primitives. Should primitives. Which means. But if I re-add the string. So is it stopped? No, it's not stopped. Why is it not stopped? I give the thing. So if I re-add it, what type do I get? Right, what? Oh yeah. Yeah, string or and then you wait. Leave. Okay. So So. See, the thing is that I don't think I can reproduce the problem in an eval, in a snippet, because I think the issue is with the barrier. I think it becomes stringer or int when it leaves the barrier. I think in here it's the right type. I think in here it's the right type, which is the problem. Would you return a type? Or what can I do with that? Okay, yeah, I think it's the barrier. So, or maybe it's not a hard fix then, because maybe if I fixed it in the interpreter, actually, maybe it's not that hard of a fix if I fix it in the interpreter. Maybe I have reproduced it. So what are we getting here? Look at this. Okay. And if, well, of course, actually, that's just a, that's just me. Um, so eval, make a new scenario. Let's make a new scenario. Never be too afraid. Jesus Christ, I got so many of these things. Okay. So you're gonna be a decimal. Okay, so this is the one I knew failed. And then what about here? Too wide is it? The Go land to yeah, the Go playground. Why does this pass? What should it be? Right. So if this passes, then it means that inside of the interpreter it's getting the type right, meaning it's not become a primitive. If I'm reading this right. So it is getting the type right. It's not. It makes it a primitive when it crosses the boundary. But if it has stringing capabilities, it will always make it into a stringer. Now, is that the bug or is that a red herring? Because it's possible that that's just a red herring and like going down the rabbit hole. Because why can't it do a DP equals stringer? Even if it's the wrong type. If it's the wrong type but it's equal, it still should work. unless for some reason that specific type can't be deep reflected. Okay. This is turned into a list of bugs with the interpreter into a full diagnosis as to one particular bug. Bug, 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 bug. Bug, 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 bug. Okay. The thing is that this should never leave the interpreter. And if it goes through reflect, it should unpack it to the type it should be. So it should never present itself. It should be an invisible facade. It's a required facade, but it should be an invisible facade. Because it's confusing. And it would change what the user sees in their, what the developer sees in their debugger. So it has to be an invisible facade. And we have to handle that. Right now, it's a blocking facade. And the thing is that even if it worked, you wouldn't want to deep reflect over this. The deep, you know. Well, that's probably also why it's yeah, honestly, that's probably why it can't do a deep equal. Because the thing is that probably the underlying value in reflect probably does come back true, which is what you want to actually be hitting with a deep reflect. But all these things will have different states. Now we need the different states for this to be able to work fundamentally for the purpose it has. Right? So yeah, so it has, but that's why it'll never be a deep equal. So the issue, let's go back to our notes. The issue is that what's the place called? Being a bit tired. It's to be an invisible facade which does not cross the interpreted to tiled symbols boundary. And additionally, when using reflect statements, is invisibly unwrapped. Yeah. Yeah. So how do we unwrap it? Let's have a look. For you. Come on, I know you're here. This isn't gonna help, mate. I'm gonna find what I want. What I'm trying to figure out is how much of this handled in compile time. Is this a compile time analysis or a runtime one? because obviously the thing about runtime analysis is that it costs you. And I'm just trying to figure out if this could be compile time analysis. I don't know why I closed half of those tabs. I'm getting a bit too. We found a ton of bugs, which makes me happy. But I wasn't expecting to find such a fundamental bug in the interpreter itself. Well, a few of them actually. But this one's fundamental. This is like a fundamental working of the interpreter. Okay. I might have stopped. Dehydrate. Part of the problem. Yeah, I got all this reflect stuff working, right? This was like a lot of effort, right, to try and get reflect partly working in the interpreter as it should. I'm just having a look if there's like obvious things I missed when I did this. I think. Yeah. Trying to remember. We have so many scenarios. This is one of the reasons why I'm a bit surprised that I overlooked this side of the interpreter itself, because this is fundamental, right? This is always the thing with things like this, where like you you go down rabbit holes trying to find every scenario you can and trying to fix it, and then you run into scenarios which are so fundamental and simple that you just never tested. And that's funny like that. It's always like that whenever you write a piece of software and then you deliver it to the client for the first time. And then the client does something basic, but it's so fundamentally basic you never thought to test it. Yeah, and then you're looking there like a numpty, and the client thinks you're an idiot, and you're like, "I'm sorry." Okay, let's try and think again. Little brain snooze for a second. So try and go back to this. Okay. Yeah. This is in the VM, obviously. Why do I feel like the problem's here? This is too aggressive. This is too. trying to think this through. It's a lot to think through. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot to think through. See, what I think I have to do is I think I have to unwrap it or reflect. Right? I should automatically unwrap it when someone does reflect. And should I only do this if the cooler would actually use this? See, that's probably what it is. I should only wrap it when it needs to be wrapped. And if it is wrapped, and it's passed into reflect, unwrap it. Right? That's making a lot of sense to me. Because right now, what I'm doing is I'm always wrapping it. I'm always wrapping it if it has a string. Always. But if it has a string, and I wrap it, and the user doesn't care for that, then we're just passing around an object which is just confusing everything. Right? Then, if I wrap it only for the cool, I would still have to wrap it if the cooler doesn't use it. Well, sorry, if the cooler's doing other things with it. I think. Which I don't know if that removes the benefit of adding that clause. I think the safest change, and the change that obviously fixes, the automatic unwrapping on reflect, and maybe that's the only change I need to actually make. It has to be automatically unwrapped on reflect. That's for sure. That's guaranteed. Right? One, we have to, well, let's not use them. We have to automatically unwrap on reflect. You have to. Or otherwise reflect is just, it's never going to be a deep equals because the VM will be different amongst other things. And on top of that, it will also mess it up if people just want to reflect to get the name, because it will be giving the name of this space. Okay, I might have to pause here. Like, I think we're getting close to identifying this bug. Um, there's two parts to it. One of them is automatically unwrapping on reflect, which is a big part of it. What I can't decide right now if it's the only part of it. Well, no, because obviously, even if we even if we only unwrap on reflect, we still need to make sure it doesn't cross the boundary. See, this is why I make these notes. We still need to make sure it doesn't cross the boundary. Yeah. But this is guaranteed that we have to do. Like this, and this wouldn't be that hard to do. I just need to find the place and put the clause in it. I wasn't expecting to be trying to fix the. Still cool. Yeah. So here we have unwrap Pico named type arguments. That brings us back here. That brings us here. So I think what I need is to unwrap it like this unwrapped it. Now this function's getting a bit big, so I don't know if I want to decompose it. But let me worry about this first. This is handling the native cool. Sorry, a reflect cool. Let's see what we're doing here. Right. When you see these panics, usually they never really panic because I usually recover them. So it's usually like a fatal thing to jump out to the recover. So it doesn't panic the host, it panics the interp. Obviously, it's not meant to be used lightly, right? So it's more like it's not an intended flow, right? It's not an intended workflow. It's just because if there is a crash, you don't want to interp. You don't want the host to crash. You just want to interp. I think I need to add another unwrap here. I think we need another unwrap here. Just like this unwrap. But for our new functions. Because I have to unwrap it. I have to unwrap it. It's just, you just have to, it's just the only way, right? Like, yeah, you have to unwrap it. What am I unwrapping? Clear. So we know. Because what I don't know is if there's other things I should actually unwrap too. Is if this is like this indicates a a larger issue. That's what I don't know. If this indicates a larger issue of other things that need unwrapping too. Larger question. Does this indicate a large issue? Pico stringer adapter. So this is an adapter. What other adapters? There's marshaller adapter. So it's the same concept, isn't it? It's the same concept. Marshall adapter, stringer adapter, error adapter, writer adapter. Do I not marshal any of these? Unwrap any of these? Formatter adapter, scanner adapter. Okay. Unwrap Pico adapter. Right. What am I working on? I'm pulling my hair out. I this is turned into a bit of a rabbit hole. Um but the fundamentals are that I have my own interpreter for the Go programming language, so I can interpret Go instead of compiling it. And um one of the reasons why I have it, I have it for a few other projects. But one of the reasons why I have it is because I have a framework which allows me to write front ends in Go. Um, and um, and the annoying thing about having a compiled language for front ends is obviously you want to be able to automatically reload them when you make a change, right? So without you having to restart the server because that's slow. Problem is I've run into a bug with the interpreter. And I think we're close to finding it out. And what the bug is I have a whole list here of me analyzing it, trying to find the source. But what the bug is um, because Go makes it difficult to actually get the original type from Reflect, I often have to um, add a lot of metadata around it inside my interpreter. And I need to unpack some of these adapters, which I'm not doing. And so it breaks it when the user does reflect. So I don't know if that explains it or if that's a bit much, but yeah. So we're trying to fix a bug. Trying to fix a bug. So unwrap Pico adapter arguments. Same concept. Same concept. And then let's find this one. And func unwrap Pico adapter arguments. Sure. Good to me. What else looks good to me? If so, we're going to want to have the same concept, I think. Not literally the same concept, because that's a bit too close to the same concept. But I mean, really, it's the same code. It's the same code. Um, let's just come back to this. Same concept. Same concept. Happy now? So we're gonna want another one of you. We're gonna want another one of you, aren't we? But we're definitely gonna want another one of you. I didn't want. Okay. What am I doing? Right. No, wait a minute. Where was I? Up. Go. So what I want is I definitely want another one of you. Oh yeah, that's the point. Definitely want another one of you. So we wanna unwrap. Wrap. Adapter underlying. Then what we want to do, if but we're going to want to pass in everything, I think, to this, right? Unwrap adapter underlying like this. If yeah, we need to do that. So what adapters do? Quite a few adapters. We want to do the stringer one because that was our actual adapter, which our problem. I call it. I never like these. Right. If What have you given? That was, I don't know. Reflect dot type assert. Uh, Pico marshal adapter. Yeah. Okay. If a okay. Select unmarshal. Yeah, you're getting it now. You're getting it now. If a okay. Select reader. Yeah, you're getting it now. Is that all of them? Yeah. Done. If does you are not an adapter. Are all these right? Where was I? Adapters to quite a few, don't we? So we have. I mean, what I could stringer, marshaller, unmarshaller, reader. Need Pico adapter. Scanner. I need scanner. Just one. Pico adapter. Sort face adapter. I think all of the adapters are in this file, and if they're in this file, then they've got to be relevant. And then if they have underline. Pico adapt. We've done everything. Uh, Scanner adapter, error adapter, formatter adapter, stringer adapter, marshaller adapter, reader adapter, unmarshaller adapter, writer. See, right. Why give me this? Probably wants me to check against an interface. Want me to check against an interface, or does it me? I don't blame. See, in situations like this, I need to think if checking against interface is even the most efficient, or if actually this. Unwrap. All right. So So this is a different set of reflect pointers that we are going to need to cache here. It's a different set of reflect, I think. So we're going to need reflect type of. We're going to need a value of, I think. Yep. A deep equal, obviously, because that was the crux of all. The right, it's a different set. I mean, I could extend the same set, but let's make a new set. Um, I think that makes more sense. I think that makes more sense to have a whole new set of pointers. If I'm going to be honest, cache pointers. Caches the identity function. Well, I'll just word it similar. The function pointers caches the reflect pointers that specs of values identity rather than being it. Be behaviorally. Yes. Then I use that in my unwrap. Wrap. Put that there, right? Have we fixed it? Have we fixed it? So, have we fixed it? So, the first question is how we fix this. I don't think the answer is yes. Because I think. No. Wait, was this the one that was broken? Was this one broken? I can't remember which one was broken now. Yeah, we fixed that. Oh my god. Okay, so what did I fix? uh. Yeah, so we're now, because we're unpacking it properly. The reflect type of is now able to go into the other reflect value. Um, okay, so that works. Does this mean that works? I still think we have a bleed the barrier though. Because this was 2 bugs, not 1, and I might have fixed one of the bugs. But that doesn't necessarily mean the bug has been fixed. I can't even. Something looks good, but I can't even. It could be. I don't know if it is. Okay, we got that back up. So might even in interpreted mode because that may be working. Interpreted? Wait, have I fixed it? Have I fixed it? Have I fixed the bug? Our bug finding mission might have fixed one of our bugs. Do not believe. I do not believe it. Believe it. Believing has yet to be received. Bug is fixed. Where was I? I have to like take a step back to remember the current state to know if this is actually. So oh yeah, okay. So the bug isn't fixed because that was in this. That's correct. That was it in the state that it worked out of coincidence because it became an int randomly. So in order to know it's fixed, I have to uncomment this string. That's right. So I don't know if I fixed the bug. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. It's not fixed. Where? Oh. Well, I fixed a bug. I fixed the bug because the test passes. It's still broken because this is the boundary bug. This is the boundary version of needing to unwrap it. So I've fixed the bug as in why the test failed. But as always with you, the bug the unit test shows is always one instance of it. And add that here. So I think I need to call it here. We fix something in a test. And I'm fairly sure that it's the case that it is just in the test, because if I now, I don't even know if I have this breakpoint. Let's see if I have it. No. Breakpoint. Breakpoint in. Deep equals. We're so far removed situation we that I know it's there. It's just I've got to disable like. Yeah, so we're still getting the adapter here because this is it bleeding in a different way. Because these reflex are not inside the interpreted engine. These reflex are on the other side of the boundary. Because this is a compiled code, which is why I can debug it. And so because of that, we've fixed it, but we've only fixed it. We've only fixed the version of the bug inside the interpreter. We haven't fixed the version of the bug that exists as it crosses the boundary. So we also need to unwrap at the boundary. So I have to find the boundary. Find the boundary. Well, I'm going to stop there. Anyway, thank you to whoever tuned in. It was nice sharing my development process.